No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show, presented by Play Now, the official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets, starts now.
Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show, where for the 7th time in the past 10 games, we've gathered here tonight to discuss a Winnipeg Jets loss as they start this road trip by dropping a decision in Washington. 4-3 is tonight's final score. The Winnipeg Jets continuing to struggle to get anything in terms of secondary scoring. The top line showed up, but unfortunately beyond that, it is thin pickings for the Winnipeg Jets. And they lose again tonight, 4-3, as their doldrums continue. Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, I am your host, Drew Mandel. Gentlemen, great to see you on this Wednesday evening here to discuss another Winnipeg Jets defeat, as I mentioned.
Yeah, I guess, Dave, we're underdressed tonight as Drew wears his little suit and we just wear our street clothes, but you're looking sharp, Drew. Yeah, I mean,
can't the guy get just dress up to sit in his electrical room every now and then in his basement? I mean, sometimes you just feel good, look good, that sort of thing. It's just wanted to put on the 3-piece suit and make a statement tonight.
I feel like you were either at a accountant's convention or you had like some type of special function tonight. Obviously, Drew, you weren't dressed up for the post-game show, but we appreciate it nonetheless, right, Dave? But you mentioned, Drew, that the Jets continue to struggle to get secondary offense. Well, they almost tied this game up and forced overtime just based on the Scheifele line alone. But it's certainly, an ongoing issue for this Jets team, guys, that they're struggling to get not just offense, but not just goals, I should say, but having trouble creating offense. And the lines were mixed up. Vladislav Nemestikov was up the middle with Perfetti and Pearson, and I think you'd agree, Dave, that line was a little bit underwhelming tonight. I mean, they had some looks, but they were underwhelming. And Jonathan Taves goes down to the fourth line, and that's something that is we're going to have to keep an eye on this road trip, guys, because I mean, we talked about it on Saturday morning show. Like, it's the time of year where moral victories are not going to cut it. The Jets are right now looking from the outside in on the playoff, as far as the playoff picture goes. That's not something they were familiar with at all last year, right? We talked about it. They were in first place and they just rode that wave all the way to the end, winning the President's Trophy, right? So I thought, for the most part, they played pretty well. I mean, they were giving up, I thought, a little bit too much up the middle, making it a little bit not hard enough on the Capitals entering their zone, and the Capitals were getting a plethora of chances in this game. And again, like, you like the Scheifele line, but again, guys, there's, aside from the loss, you don't like the fact that you really didn't have these new forward line combinations. I didn't really think bore any fruit, I should say.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Dave. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's true. I mean, they didn't start the game off particularly well. They were being outshot heavily and outchanced. And I know that in the end, the numbers kind of even things out and they did show up a little bit better. But this is the problem. You're starting games. Oh, sorry, wait a second. Do you guys want me to talk about the Moose currently leading 5-1? Is that what everyone wants me to? No, not right now.
Later,
okay.
Maybe later.
Okay.
Just focus on.
I just thought people.
I know you're getting excited that the Moose are playing well.
No, it's not that. I just thought people would want to hear about a team that wins games, not loses them. But anyways,
I just got to say, it's funny that the only time that the Moose, lost the game
as of
recently. Is that when you were doing color on the radio broadcast, all of a sudden you're doing color, the Moose, the success on home ice is fleeting in that case.
That is a good point. Yeah, that is true. The 6-game win streak did end with me doing color. So I will, I guess, take that on. True, that's fair. But we'll get back to the Moose Ezzy later. That game is still going on, as Matthew Hyman says. Time to put. Oh, I thought it said time to put down your antlers. So I'm not going to put them on right now, Matthew. We'll put them on after. But I mean, this is a Jets team that, other than And again, Velarde and Scheifele and Connor weren't exactly stellar defensively on that first goal against, but they're scoring. I mean, they're putting the puck in the back of the net. And so they accounted for all the Jets offense today. And it is obviously one of the goals was on the power play, but it is problematic that you just don't have anything. And I know they're trying something new with Barron, Ezzy, with Taves, and Nemesnikov back up the middle, trying to see if that can get Perfetti going. Because Cole Perfetti is a guy that we keep talking about, and I understand he's behind the eight ball with Lowry and Sandberg, but it is a function of you don't really have a lot of time left because you've now lost 3 games, and as Drew said, 7 of your last 10, and you're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. You've got games in hand on a number of teams, but the cushion that you had is now gone. The whole U.S. Thanksgiving, again, this year seems weird, guys. I don't know about your opinion, but it seems like that's less relevant given how bunched up all the teams are.
Sure,
like
I would agree with that.
Normally you see like teams that are like 10, 15 points back, and you're like, okay, fine, that makes sense. But now everybody's so bunched together, it's very hard to take that as if it's going to be the barometer for playoff success or playoff entry, I should say. And then the other thing we should mention is the play of Elias Salamonson. I thought he looked real good. Obviously, on the Perfetti drop where he gets burnt, not ideal, but some nice plays paired alongside Dylan Sandberg, and a nice debut for him, I thought, Ezzy.
Yeah, well, he was on the ice for 2 goals against, though.
Yeah.
I thought he was all right.
Again, I don't think he's the second coming. I think he just played. I think he played for a high pressure game. I thought he played fine.
Well,
there were 2 pretty bad mistakes that led to goals, but
in the grand scheme of the problems that the Winnipeg Jets have, I don't think he's towards the top of that list. I would argue based on tonight's performance.
No, you're not going to pillory a guy that comes in for his first game, but
right.
He also, you have to point that out that he was on the ice for 2 goals against, and he made mistakes on both of those goals, right? I thought he got better as the game progressed. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
So, I think the Jets right now are a team that's looking for answers, right? They just don't, this team just doesn't look right.
Yeah. I think it's a flaw.
They just don't look right now. And I think Eric Comrie actually played really well. Like, what did he end up with? 30 saves, something like that. Like, I don't think necessarily maybe the Ovechkin goal, but that was deflected off of is that DeMello or deflected off of someone? The spin around Ovechkin goal.
I thought it might have hit Stanley.
Or Stanley, the 3rd goal, right? So I thought Comrie played well. Like, this isn't a game that you're going to say the goaltending let them down. The Jets get a power play goal. Gabe Velarde was really good tonight. The whole top line was really good tonight. They're just not finding ways. Like Drew mentioned this on last Saturday's show. They're still not finding ways to get an extra point here. Somehow the Jets don't have any loser points. Mm-hmm. And if you look, some teams, I think the most might be 7. A team has 7 loser points, and the Jets don't have any right now, and that's also hurting them. And this last year, and I realized
Vegas and St. Louis, a team that has only won 7 of their 24 games has 7 loser points. Right. They've lost 7 games in overtime.
I just couldn't remember which team had the 7, but regardless, this is a game in which it was there. Scheifele had a chance late in the 3rd period and just kind of bounced off of his stick, and he had a few opportunities that seemed to be bouncing off of his stick, and it's just a team right now that, and Jonathan Taves takes that penalty, that offensive zone tripping penalty in the 3rd period. Like, when you're down a couple of goals, I realized the Jets, Scheifele scored later and made it a 1-goal game, but those are the types of penalties like have nothing to do with the play in the offensive zone. It was just a lazy penalty, and I realized that Taves was complaining about it, but that was a trip, Dave, right? Like, a trip is a trip. I guess sometimes you could argue with it, but and sure, Drew, we could talk about this being a flawed roster. The point is, at 22 games into the season, you can't keep saying, well, we need this guy to get going, and we need this guy to get going. And I agree with Dave. Like, Perfetti missed, what did he miss? 14 games, 15 games. Like, but, at the end of the day, they need more offense aside from the Scheifele line, and they're just not getting it right now.
Well, maybe we were all, were a little bit naive about Cole Perfetti being able to be the individual driver of that second line. Maybe that's not a role he's quite ready for, or it's still going to take him some time. I mean, the point is, and I said this on Sunday's post-game show when Dave and I were talking after the Wild game, that this roster is as constructed, I don't think scares anybody, aside from the top line. The top line, which almost single-handedly dragged the Winnipeg Jets to earning a point in tonight's game. And yes, you can say that you don't like Kyle Connor's effort maybe on that first goal against, but they're responsible for 3 of the goals that the Jets scored. They're still outscoring their problems. I mean, where would they be if they were only an average line right now this year? Beyond that, there's nobody else on this roster that scares anybody, and I don't know where the solution to that problem immediately comes from internally. That's where I think the flaw of the roster is. I mean, with Vancouver basically hanging a for sale shingle up, and not to say that there's anybody necessarily there that's an immediate solution, but I do think that, Kevin Cheveldayoff needs to be maybe more aggressive earlier right now to fix the flaws that this Winnipeg Jets have. We saw it on the broadcast. Oldest team in the league, slowest team in the league. I don't know that that's a recipe for success.
Is that good?
No, it could be theoretically if it works. Yeah. I mean, you're leaning into the veteran mindset when you make that conscious decision. It's not like the Jets and the management team is just finding out now that they're old and slow. They knew that from the outset. But do you now that you've seen it for 22 games, do you begin to say, okay, maybe we're a little too slow or we're a little too old? You might need to fast forward a solution to your problems. Not to say you make a rash, inappropriate, just limiting decision for your long term, but you might have to figure out a way to try and change things up a little bit to give a little bit of a different dynamic than what you're putting forth for the first 22 games of this year.
Guys, the Winnipeg Jets have the same amount of points as the Chicago Blackhawks right now. Is that good?
No, not based on expectations at the beginning of the season. It's not.
No, but the Jets are in trouble here. Like a couple weeks ago, I didn't necessarily. After that road trip, I thought, okay, well, they're going to pick up a couple wins on the homestand, and this will,
they get their roster back.
And they did end the road trip beating the Flames, right? A terrible team, which they should beat. Mm-hmm. But you lose to Carolina. You lost your last game. You're losing tonight. You lost tonight, I should say.
Yeah.
And lost to Minnesota. Sorry, I couldn't remember who the Jets played last game there for a second.
Yeah,
but you're in a position now where you are outside of a playoff picture, and the thing that concerns me the most is there's not a lot of signs that the Jets are going to get out of this long term. I'm not saying that they can't rebound with a win. I'm saying I'm looking at some of the lines, and I'm just looking some of the play, and I'm thinking what there's not a logical player that you can maybe move up or elevate that's going to necessarily change things. I agree with Drew. This team, again, it is older, it's slower, and I guess that's going to naturally happen when you lose guys like Nikolai Ehlers and Brandon Tanev and even Mason Appleton. Who would have thought that we'd be talking about how the Jets miss Mason Appleton?
I think that it's a flawed roster construction is what they are right now, Dave. That would be where I would fall on, as opposed, I don't think that this roster is any different. I don't think that they're any more successful with Mason Appleton than the guys that they have. They just need one more player that actually sort of, that other teams have to game plan for.
Yeah.
Aside from Scheifele and Velarde and Kyle Connor and, other teams, like I said on Sunday,
I don't think, Drew, though, you're getting that player via trade without giving up something significant. You're not. What
well,
player?
You kind of invest, but Ezzy, haven't you invested in this roster to basically quote be a Stanley Cup contender this year, next year, and the year after? I mean, if you're not prepared to make the sacrifice to give up for some sort of something big in order to get something back, I mean, what is the point really? Because this roster isn't going to be enough to do it. And I don't know. I look at. It's ironic. the only thing I was going to say, it's ironic that we're talking about this because right now the Jets numbers have actually, analytics, I should say, have trended up in the way that they weren't in the first 10 to 12 games. So they were winning games that they, again, we talked about it earlier, earlier being the Saturday show, that they probably didn't deserve to win, but they had excellent goaltending. And now, I mean, look, you're scoring 3 goals. If you score 3 goals in a game, you probably should win that game, but you're giving up 4. And it's porous. And there was a lot of
2 of those goals are on the power play. I mean, you're not doing enough 5-on-5.
No, they're 5-on-5. Well, Connor Rabchak said it best. I mean, in the second period, they were outshot 5-on-5, 11-0 at one point.
Right.
It was 11-0.
So you're not generating enough. I mean, yes, you got the power play goals, but you're not generating enough.
Right. And we know the power play has been very good and the PK has been very good. But again, it becomes a function of like we put up the comment, like you can be old, but you have to be smart. If you're not fast, you still have to be smart. And like nothing's, it kind of exemplifies.
What does that mean?
Well, I was going to say, I'll give you a perfect example.
I don't think the Jets are a not smart team.
Well, I'm just saying that I'll give you a perfect example. Gus Nyquist on the second goal. I mean, he comes in, there's a loose puck. I get that he's thinking he's got to watch the blue line, but the problem is he gives the cat there's no other Jets that are in the area. He has a chance at that puck, doesn't go for it, ends up in the back of your net. And I'm not blaming him solely for it, but it's not a good look. There's another the 3-on-1. The Jets have a 3-on-1. Sure, they drew a power play. They didn't get a shot off.
Yeah, I think Pearson, right? He gave it away.
Yeah, so it's just like you're making decisions in like, again, just because you have a delayed power play coming doesn't mean you can't score on the opportunity. And they didn't even get a shot. So this is what I'm talking about. You're putting yourself in prime position, and then you're not doing anything with it, whether it's offensively or defensively. And right now, it just seems to be absent that first line. And then, so Drew, to answer your question, or to answer your question with the question, is it time to break up that top line? Because even though they're providing all your offense, maybe that's a one way of kind of getting it to get it kind of to filter down to the rest of this group. Because right now, you don't have enough throughout the rest of the group to talk about.
And I was going to bring that up. I think you need to do something to get Perfetti going. And I don't think that his current line mates or the current options that you've presented as his line mates are going to be the solution there. I think you need to do something to get Cole Perfetti going. And if that means...
Do you flip-flop Velarde and Perfetti?
I worry about Velarde as a play driver himself.
No, he's not a play driver. He's definitely not a play driver. I mean,
so I wonder how much of a solution that's going to be. I wonder if you look at separating Connor and Scheifele. And I know that is hard to wrap your brains around because it's,
we've never seen it.
We've never seen it, or it's been so long, but I wonder if that's something that you might have to begin to explore, just because both of those guys, are drivers. They can succeed. They can pull players forward with them. And so if you put Scheifele and Velarde together, or Scheifele and Perfetti together, I know that you're still don't have your solution to a second line center, by and large, because I don't think you're moving Velarde to center at this point in time, or Perfetti, I guess, for that matter, to center at this point in time. But I wonder if you begin to if you put Cole Perfetti with another high caliber player, honestly, if you think that you have 2 really high caliber players in Scheifele and Connor, and to me, those are your highest of high caliber forwards, give one to Velarde, give one to Perfetti, and then you fill in the gap sort of around that. I don't know that that's going to succeed. I'd be honest, the idea of Scheifele and Connor not together and then succeeding, apart from one another, seems hard to wrap our brains around. But as currently constructed, unless there's a trade, I don't know that this is going to be a good enough solution as it currently stands. I mean, it might be time to do that. You've lost 7 of your last 10 in regulation, guys.
Right. And what did we say before the trip began, right, Ezzy? You cannot afford to continue to allow this slide to continue. And it's not getting easier. You got to go play Carolina next. So, you need to start again, I understand that the first line is the line that has been the driving line whether it's, I mean, obviously we know that, like you said, Drew, they got power play goals, but the fact of the matter is they're the ones who are providing you your offense, providing you with your grade A's. So again, I understand that it seems radical to break it up because but how much easier is it? I was going to say, how much easier is the game plan against, and yet they still score. So I don't know, but I mean, part of it is also tightening up defensively, and this group is just not doing it. And they talked about it on the broadcast. They showed, how they got the middle of the ice against the Jets, and how many times were there opportunities. So yes, we can talk about the offense, and the offense is a huge part of this, but the Jets are not playing tight enough defensively either as a group. So there's lots of issues and there's lots of problems, and that's what we're here to talk about, and listen to all the people in the chat discuss this as well while they're smashing the like button.
Well, just before we get into the Play Now game recap, I think that Dave just nailed it. It's similar to, I don't know if you guys heard Connor McDavid's comments after that just embarrassing loss to Dallas. But like Connor McDavid was saying, like, I'm not blaming that. Like, he was asked specifically about the goaltending. He's saying, like, if you play like that in front of the goaltenders, it doesn't matter who you have in net, because they're not playing well defensively either. And so I think it's a combination of, drink again if we're playing the lack of secondary scoring drinking game, but that's part of it. I also think it's stylistically the way the Jets are playing, and this speaks to Dave's point. You're not having those shift after shift, those consecutive shifts in the offensive zone, which led to the Jets' success last year because teams were on their heels. And so this year, teams are doing to the Jets what they were doing to other teams last year, right? Like, so they're not executing their system, that's for sure. Like, defensively, that was a huge issue that I referenced, in the first 5 minutes of the show, where it seemed like Washington was having way too much. It was way too easy for them to gain the Jet zone. And then the Capitals were spending some time in the Jet zone. So the Jets are now chasing the game down 2 goals. Like, it's a myriad of things that are wrong with the Jets right now. And that's what I'm saying. The Jets need to figure this out on this road trip, because, if you go 1-4 or 2-3 on this road trip, you're setting yourself even further back, and you're not gaining any points. Like, you're already not catching Colorado. I mean, like, Colorado, that's done.
Maybe we'll give him the President's Trophy, has he?
Well, yeah, and you're probably not catching Dallas. What are they, 8 points up on the Jets or something like that? Like, that's going to be very hard to catch. So, I mean, you're talking about right now, you're trying to be a wild card team, and yeah, sure, the Jets could go on an incredible run where they go, 8-2 or something like that, and they're in the conversation for maybe second in the Central Division, but they have to start stringing together some wins on this road trip. And it's not going to be easy, like Drew said. They've got Carolina coming up on Friday. Luckily, you've got Nashville and Buffalo after that. So, I mean, those should be and I say should be wins.
Well, given all the stuff we're hearing about Nashville, Nashville may be a little bit easier, but Buffalo's gotten a couple of.
The way the Jets are playing, there's no easy games.
I was going to say, didn't Buffalo just punt the Oilers again? Not to suggest that somehow that's significant and difficult, but didn't Buffalo, or was it Chicago? Maybe they beat up on Chicago.
They beat up. Recently. Yeah, they scored
Chicago
against Chicago. Yeah, it wasn't Edmonton.
Okay.
Yeah, the only the teams.
That's a reasonable mistake for the record.
Yeah, it's not unreasonable. Right. Let's get into the goal by goal recap. We do it here on the Illegal Curve post game show. It's a key part of each and every post game show. It's brought to you by our friends at Play Now.
The Play Now game recap.
Big thanks to our friends at Play Now. They've been a long-time supporter of ours here at Illegal Curve, and we appreciate them very much for doing so. Until April 17th, earn a $5 sports bonus bet for each Jets power play goal when you place a qualifying same-game parlay wager on a Jets regular season game. Conditions apply. Bet with Play Now, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus. Enjoy responsibly. Coming into tonight's game, it was sort of funny. There was, I think it was our buddy Mike McIntyre tweeted it out about how dynamic the Capitals have been from the back end, getting goals from John Carlson and Jacob Chychrun. Well, guess who scored the first 2 goals for the Washington Capitals in tonight's game? Carlson and Chychrun. The first goal comes at the 6:38 mark. It's John Carlson, his 6th of the year, assist to Team Canada's Tom Wilson, and he makes it 1-0 after a Winnipeg Jets sort of offensive zone turnover ends up in the back of the net very quickly thereafter. 1-0 for the Caps, 6.5 minutes into the game, Ezzy.
Yeah, well, the Jets got caught there on a 3-on-2. Dave mentioned it a few minutes ago. Scheifele to Connor, so there's a little bit of a turnover there, and then the Jets are caught deep. And you've got Sandberg and you've got Salamonson back, and that's why I was saying on this particular play, Salamonson, I think Dave is just, I'm not blaming Salamonson completely on this goal, but Salamonson is just backing up a little bit too much, and there's just a little bit too much separation between him and Carlson. But it is an odd man rush created by a turnover, right? And again, that's what we keep talking about. It seems like, we do these post-game shows after every game, and it just seems like the Jets are getting burned by almost every egregious turnover, right?
Right.
And Drew's right. I mean, how many seasons has Carlson scored 20 or more goals? Like, I don't know, 8, 10? I'd have to look it up. But like, this is a guy who year after year has been one of the best offensive defensemen. And on the topic of Jacob Chychrun, which we'll get into that goal, I mean, he has to be on Team Canada's radar. I know they were talking about it during the break, but he scored 2 goals against Columbus. What's he up to? I think 8 goals now, or 9 goals?
9 goals.
9 goals.
Yeah, really good defenseman. I know he's not necessarily known for being the best defensive defenseman, so that might work against him. But I just wanted to point that out, that he's having an incredible year, and they did talk about it on Sportsnet, and he's obviously a guy that I think is going to be considered. There's obviously better defensemen, but yeah, on the first goal, that's just unfortunate because we talked about it. What is this, the third game in a row, guys, where the Jets have given up the first goal, and you can still come back and tie the game up like the Jets did. But it's just, again, I think taking them out of their game. And I just didn't feel like that first period that they had enough. What did they have? I think through the first 10 minutes, they only had 2 shots on net or something like that, Dave. Yeah. So like I just felt like they were chasing the puck and chasing the Capitals for too much of that first period.
Well, I mean, as maybe it's because I can't believe we've already been almost half an hour into the show. We haven't mentioned the 25 minutes that the Alex Ovechkin ceremony took. I mean, it was who didn't they thank during that ceremony? I thought we were going to get thanked during the ceremony, and I'm not one to complain.
It was a good pregame ceremony, though. I mean, it was pretty awesome.
And we it was good, but I don't know that we need to.
Allow me to play curmudgeon for a second.
Well, I was trying to play that, but go on.
I know. Like, Alex Ovechkin has had a tremendous career. He's had a remarkable career. He's going to get all the bouquets that he deserves at the end of his career. But just in general in the NHL, I think they need to sort of tamp down on all the acknowledgments for everything. Just because you play a game that ends, your 700th game, your 400th game, your
I mean, they obviously did it for
not
both.
Everything deserves as many bouquets as we're giving them.
I'm okay with it
all the time.
But I didn't need.
I think that's a fair point. I got to agree with Drew on that one.
Ezzy, I was okay with the acknowledgement of his 1500th game and his 900th goal. What I didn't need was to know the name of every single child that he impacted in the Washington D.C. metro area and inspired them to play hockey. Like, they're great stories, but that's kind of one that, to be honest with you, that's one thing that you put out on a video later to say, oh, thanks a lot, or you play it, before the ceremony begins. It just dragged. And what's his name?
I did like that Joe Beninati.
I was just going to say
Hellebuck good health. I like.
Well,
that.
and we had Joe on the show, right? We've had him on.
Oh yeah,
before,
tons of times back in the day. Yeah, the radio days.
Yeah, so I mean, I like Joe, so it's not. I'm not complaining about him. I just thought it did. Like I the best was when he scored. I was like, should we have a ceremony for the goal 908? Like it was just too much.
The game.
It was just too much ceremony for me. So it did drag. I mean, what time did the game start? About 25 minutes later than it was supposed to?
6:24 when it was supposed to start at, I guess, probably 6:04 or something.
Yeah.
So it was about a 20-minute ceremony.
I think the
agrees with you, Dave.
Thank you, Nicole. And I think the chat, I see Doug's agreeing with me too. Like I said, the bottom line is I'm not complaining about the fact that they wanted to have a ceremony. I just think it was more a function to me that it just dragged on and on and on and on. And I'm not, to be clear, not using that as any justification for the Jets' loss in tonight's game. But I mean, I just thought it was just something that I was making fun of and I wanted to bring up on today's show.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that I'm not the only curmudgeon around here. Capitals make it 2-0 before the end of the first period at the 14:21 mark. It's Jacob Chychrun. We mentioned him. His 9th of the year assist to Sonny Milano. And Frank also gets the secondary assist on this one as well. Ethan Frank is who the player is, by the way. this is a save that Eric Comrie has to make. Where, at this point in time in the game, yes, it's a well-placed shot by Chychrun, so not taking, the quality of the shot is high, but Eric Comrie has to find a way to, in my mind, to make this save. Your team is struggling. You're not doing much. It's not a point-blank chance. It's a shot from the point. It's a wrist shot from the point. Comrie's got to find a way to fight through whatever traffic's in front there to make this save. He doesn't, emblematic of why he's a backup in this league and not a starter in this league on a regular basis, I would say. But it's 2-0 for Washington at this point in time.
I would agree with you, Drew. Sorry, Dave. I was just going to say, if there was one goal out of the 4 goals that you'd say that was maybe a soft goal, it would be this one. But I think I know what Dave's going to touch on, because obviously there was a bit of a defensive brain fart by a certain forward on this one. Dave, I'll let you take over.
Well, I mean, yeah, to me, Nyquist just backs off a puck, and it's a 50-50 chance that he gets to that puck and at least disrupts whatever play he is going to happen. But instead of doing that, he just leaves it. And so they fire the puck back to Chychrun, and he makes no mistake. But, and I mean, the other thing also, if you're Morgan Barron, is you can't take away your goaltender's eyes. I mean, you either have to stand in and block the shot or get out of the way. And what he does is he takes away Comrie's eyes. I agree with Drew. I'm inclined to say, like, it's one he probably should have because it's a far enough distance, but the screen from his own player doesn't help, and the play by Gus Nyquist on the play itself doesn't help. And also just like even just before the opportunity, that Nyquist had to kind of kill that chance. I mean, the Jets they're almost getting confused as to where they need to be and where guys are supposed to be standing, because they just kind of they're walking around, and it's almost like Barron's used to playing center and he's unfamiliar as he being on the wing. So he's kind of in the middle, but Taves is in the middle. So there's just a lot of confusion to me in this play by the Winnipeg Jets, and it ends up being the result story ends up being that they're now down 2-0, and it felt, to be honest with you, it felt almost insurmountable because of the way things have gone of late. You're like, well, 2-0, it's early. And by the way, did they say on the broadcast as that, because of course records always happen against the Winnipeg Jets, did they say that was the fastest goal between defensemen, which is still shocking because it was still about 8 minutes in between goals? But I could have sworn they said on the Hunter Ryan Singh on the broadcast said something to the effect of it set some sort of record for goals by defensemen for the Capitals.
I didn't notice that. It's possible. I didn't notice that.
Maybe the chat can back me up. I heard the comment. I didn't bother to pause it and rewind because I was like, oh, what a surprise! Another record against the Jets.
It's not the nuke shot that you're looking to.
That's usually that's a little. Into. Yeah, that's not really my area of interest. But I will say, like, just surprising in the 50-year history or whatever it is of the Capitals for them not to have defensemen who would have scored goals back to back that quickly, but. Maybe it has. Maybe it was the first time. Or I'll go back and listen during the break.
There you go. Jets get on the board before the first period is up. 22 seconds to go in the first period. It's a power play goal. Pardon me, it's not a power play goal. I misspoke on that one. Gabe Vilardi, his 9th of the season. Assist to Kyle Connor and John Carlson. Weird that John Carlson gets the secondary assist because he plays for the Washington Capitals. But he's definitely deserving of this one. It's a free pizza that he just gives up onto the stick of Kyle Connor. Not really sure of the read that Carlson sees here. Maybe he just doesn't see Connor. It's the only thing that comes to mind. It's a clean faceoff win by the Capitals, and he just sort of passes it to Connor onto the stick of Vilardi, who's in front of the net, and he tucks it in, and the Jets have they cut the lead from 2-0 to 2-1 thanks to John Carlson, Kyle Connor, and Gabe Vilardi, and that's how the first period would wrap up.
Yeah, and like Dave said, I mean, when Jacob Chychrun scored that 2-0 goal, you're thinking like this could be a long night. Like this isn't looking good. And so the timing of this goal was obviously huge to go into the first intermission feeling good about yourself when you really didn't generate a ton of offense. You didn't have a lot of shots on net, right? And it's just a very alert play by Kyle Connor. Because like you said, Drew, I mean, John, it's kind of tough to know, like, was John Carlson already kind of fantasizing about passing the puck to Kyle Connor at the Olympics? Like, I'm not sure what was going on there, but it was one of those things where, John Carlson, a veteran, like pretty uncharacteristic of him to make that mistake, because it was kind of like I forget the forward that was on the ice trying to get him the puck. I have to like zoom in and remember that. I don't remember. Let's see here. Yeah, I can't figure out who the forward that Carlson was trying to get to the puck to.
I think he's trying to get it to Ethan Frank. That's the forward who's in the corner. But
53, right?
Yeah, that's Ethan Frank. So
Ethan Frank.
Either Frank was out of position or Carlson just completely flubbed the pass, because Frank is like he's on the wall. Yeah. And Carlson's pass does not go anywhere near the wall. It goes like right to the side of the net. So again, I don't know what Carlson's read is here. I don't know. I mean, it's such a weird play that I have to assume that like maybe he healed the pass, like he just didn't get enough on it.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think he definitely fans on it. He flubs on it. But Dave, just a really alert play by Connor, because instead of maybe holding onto that puck and trying to take it to the net or going around the net or something like that, he knows Velarde's right there and just makes a really nice pass to him.
Yeah, and the only thing I would add, because you guys broke it down well, but the only thing I would add, boys, is the fact that what a necessary goal for the Winnipeg Jets to inject some life. I mean, it's late in the period. You don't really have much going on, and yet somehow you're only down 2-1 after 20 minutes. So it definitely injects some life, and it shows you the value of losing faceoffs. We often talk about the value of winning faceoffs, boys, but this is what happens when you lose faceoffs cleanly. Clearly, it was part of a plan by the Jets to win the puck back through a mistake by the Capitals.
Yeah, so that's where the first period ends, and then the Jets start the second period with a power play. Dylan Strome is in the box for roughing. He gets the 4 minutes for roughing, while Vlad Nemesnikov gets the 2 minutes for roughing. This is with 10 seconds to go in the second period. So the Jets start the second with a power play, and Gabe Vilardi gets his 10th of the year on a real nifty redirection off of Josh Morrissey point shot. Kyle Connor with the secondary assist as well on this one. Connor and Vilardi are playing a two-man game behind the net, and then it's Connor who sends it back up to Morrissey, who sort of walks the blue line, and then a really sort of a nice shot by Morrissey, almost aiming for Vilardi's stick on the tip, and then Vilardi makes absolutely no mistake on the tip. Very nicely done, getting it past Charlie Lindgren, and that ties the game up at 2 goals apiece. So the Jets, to their credit, led by the top line, battle back from being down that 2-0 to tying it up at 2 goals apiece early in that second period.
Yeah, I like how Gabe Vilardi and Kyle Connor are kind of playing catch behind the net. And what that does is I think it kind of distracts Washington, because they know that something's going to happen out front. And what it does is it gives Josh Morrissey all types of time and space that he can get the proper angle that he wants. And you're absolutely right, Drew. Like he's shooting that to get the tip, and it's a beautiful tip by Gabe Vilardi, who was just excellent tonight. And I think he was good against Minnesota. Like I know you guys talked about it on the postgame show. I listened to a little bit of it, not the whole thing. I know you guys don't think I listen to the postgame show when I'm not on it, but I do.
We know you do.
I don't think you listen to the post-game show when you are on it.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Drew. You win that one. But yeah, just a beautiful tip, and now the game is tied. And I think that was only the Jets' 7th or 8th shot of the game, right, Dave? So that's the way hockey is, right? And the Jets were opportunistic on that one, that's for sure. And the power play can, like Dave mentioned this earlier, that the power play hasn't let them down. Like the power play has been pretty solid. It started off slow, but the power play hasn't been the issue. It's been the lack of scoring at even strength. We've talked about it. And the Jets obviously get the power play goal and tie the game up. But then Washington scored not that long after, so now the Jets are chasing again.
Just under 4 minutes later, to your point there, Alex Ovechkin gets his 11th of the year. This is what they call a seeing eye shot, I believe. He sort of just turns and flutters one towards the net. It goes past Kyle, who's in the way. Colin Miller's sort of between Comrie
Logan
and
Stanley's there, isn't he?
Logan Stanley is there. Who's also there for Washington. It's Dylan Strome is there for Washington. So it just finds a way through Comrie.
Ryan Strome, Drew. Ryan Strome.
What did I say?
Dylan.
No,
his brother.
Dylan Strome.
Sorry, Dylan Strome. I thought you said Ryan Strome.
No,
Dylan
I said
Strome.
Dylan. Yeah.
So never mind. I got it wrong.
Thank you. I was confused. Am I having a stroke or are you having the stroke? I need to figure out which one of us is having the stroke.
I thought you said Ryan Strome, and then I screwed it up.
I told you don't pay attention even when you're on the damn show. Thank you. I'll continue now. You can see that Comrie has no idea where the puck is. He doesn't know that it's, he can't see the puck until it's behind him and it's in the net. It's a goal scorer's goal. It's not going to be the prettiest one in Alex Ovechkin's highlight reel, but you turn and fire and you throw pucks on net, good things tend to happen. That's what happens here for the Washington Capitals. And they have a 3-2 lead now, Dave.
Yeah, but the Jets also had the puck and they lost it, right? Adam Lowry has the puck behind the Jets net and tries to get the puck over to Logan Stanley. Doesn't make the pass quite over. And then Alex Iafallo can't get the puck, tries to chip it out, a little bit of a desperation move and doesn't. And then this is not a chance. Nobody's looking at this and thinking, oh, well, here comes a scoring opportunity.
Right.
Regardless of whether it's Alex Ovechkin shooting it or anyone else. And, I know they call him the grade 8, but it's just a bit of a, I guess, again, a cautionary tale for Logan Stanley needing to kind of clear the front of the net because both Colin Miller and Logan Stanley really aren't doing anything. Now, I understand that they're not anticipating that there's anything that's going to really be dangerous coming their way, but it just creates a bit of a screen. There's a puck. You don't have possession of the puck. You have to be a little more self-aware. So, not a great goal. Not a great goal by the Washington Capitals.
No, and it's just, you're right, Dave, to point out, it's a fluky bounce off of, I guess, who are we saying? Colin Miller. I think it was Colin Miller. I don't know if it was Colin Miller or Logan Stanley. It deflected off somebody, right, Dave? I think we all agree.
It looked like Stanley. And also the way that Comrie kind of looked at the goaltender, I felt like it might have hit Stanley.
It was an ugly goal that we already talked about. We're not going to blame Comrie for that goal. It was a fluke bounce that and like you said, the way he reacted, I don't think he knew where that puck was at all, right? Like he didn't. The puck was kind of bouncing and rolling, and he went down, and then it was an ugly goal. But it's again another example of like the Jets kind of just scrambling around and not being sharp out of their own zone. And the thing is that happens to every team. It's not like you could watch a lot of the time. That shot ends up getting blocked, or the goalie stops it, or whatever. But it just seems like the Jets' room for error right now, guys. That's something that I think I'm stealing Drew's lines here. But like the margin of error, like it's just non-existent right now. It just seems like the Jets. And again, I didn't think that the Jets played particularly well through. I thought their game picked up a little bit in the second period, led by the Scheifele line, obviously. But it just seems like any type of little like mistake, they turn the puck over in the defensive zone, and these types of goals are killing them. Because for the most part, this was a pretty even game where the Jets could have easily got a point out of this game if that sequence in the second period when I guess we're talking about the second period when Connor got the puck to Scheifele and it kind of just hopped over his stick, like he had Lindgren beat there. Right. And then you're talking about a tie game going into the third period, and maybe the Jets end up getting the go-ahead goal. It's just right now, just things are not going well for the Jets. That's that's oversimplifying it, but it's true.
And look, I don't want to, I'm not trying to pick on Adam Lowry, but he's a little bit behind the 8 ball, right? His timing is a little bit off from everyone else's. And again, he hasn't played hockey in 6 months really, right? Since the surgery in May. And obviously he's played, whatever it is, 10 games since he's returned to the lineup. But the fact is that you're looking at, Adam Lowry generally doesn't make a soft pass in the defensive zone that ends up on the opponent's stick.
Right. That's where that's what you're paying. You're paying him for good decisions in the defensive zone.
Exactly. How often do you ever pinpoint a goal against in the defensive zone on Adam Lowry? I'm not saying that goals don't get scored when he's on the ice. I'm just saying that where he's directly attributable, the goal can be directly attributed to a mistake he made. And he makes mistakes, doesn't pass the puck effectively to Logan Stanley. And then, again, little things. You're a second too late. Alex Iafallo, just a second too late. And then you're not, Colin Miller kind of caught in no man's land, and then adding to the screen element for Comrie. So it's just, again, these are the things that get highlighted and magnified because when you are winning, this type of play happens. Again, this happens in a game against a good teams and bad teams 1,000 times maybe not 1,000 times. That might be a bit of an exaggeration, Ezzy, but they happen a lot throughout the course of a hockey game. And yet, right now, when you're in the streak that the Jets are currently in, 7 of 10 losses, these types of things get magnified and they end up, burning you. and burning you because you're tied 2-all in a game that for the first 20 didn't look like you were going to be tied 2-all. Suddenly you're tied 2-all. You're desperately need to kind of change the narrative. You want to start the road trip off on a good foot, and yet now suddenly you're down 3-2 on a goal that you're not feeling particularly good about.
Well, now you're down 4-2, 5 minutes and 25 seconds into the third period. It's ultimately the game-winning goal. It's Connor McMichael. It's an unassisted goal. And I mean, to your point there, Dave, the Jets are in a good position here. They are gaining it's a clean zone entry into the capital zone. Kyle Connor, with the clean zone entry, and he's trying to get it back to Elias Salomonsson. And what happens? Or is it? Pardon me. Is it?
It's Perfetti.
It's Perfetti. Sorry, I saw the 1 and I thought it was an 8, but it's a 9. And it just eats up Salomonsson. It's in his skates and it eats him up. And so McMichael is able to get a head of speed, and he's coming in, one-on-one on Eric Comrie. Samberg is hustling to get back. I don't love the angle that Samberg takes on this one, but that's nitpicking if you really want. I mean, McMichael's just faster than Samberg in this case. McMichael's already going downhill. Samberg's trying to make up for being a step behind. I don't want to, so I don't want to be unfair when in my analysis. Sure. But Connor McMichael comes in, he makes a nice deke on Eric Comrie, and he goes to the backhand and he slides it past Comrie, and all of a sudden, where the Jets get a clean zone entry, it quickly turns up the other way and ends up in the back of the net for a 4-2 Capitals lead at this point, Ezzy.
Yeah, you can't overanalyze this one a little bit, right? This is Perfetti gets the puck to Salomonsson and he misplays it, right? It gets caught up in his skates.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that there had to be nerves for him, right? Like there is for any player. And I agree with what Dave was saying. I think for the most part he played pretty well, right? It's not an easy position to be in when you go in and you're on a struggling team. It's different if you're going in and the team is, riding a 4 or 5 game winning streak and you're at home. This is on the road. The team has lost their previous 2 games, right? It's just not. It was a tough situation to come into for Salomonsson, and so it's unfortunate. And then McMichael's a fast player, and Samberg is in a position where McMichael already has a jump on him, right? Yeah. So he's like you said, Drew. Could he have maybe taken a different route? Yeah, I can see that, but I don't know if he was catching McMichael at the end of the day. He ended up getting pretty close to catching him, and he just player. Yeah, no, McMichael is. I think that was only his 4th goal of the season, so he's been struggling. They
were saying
on
the broadcast he was a little slower this year, but
yeah, so. It's an egregious mistake and it's unfortunate. But again, the Jets right now don't have that margin of error. They're not playing well enough. Maybe last year they come back and they get that extra goal,
especially when you don't have Connor Hellebuyck to make one of his Hellebuyckian saves.
Sure.
It's a great play by McMichael. It's hard to fault the goaltender on a breakaway that he doesn't make the save.
Comrie has to respect the shot, right? He respects the shot, and McMichael fakes the shot, and then he goes to the backhand and he puts a nice move on Comrie. It's a breakaway. It's 50-50 at that point whether Comrie's going to make the save.
Yeah. The Jets get back to within 1 goal again. This comes later in the third period with about 4 minutes and 49 seconds to go in tonight's contest. Mark Scheifele, he's in a good position. He's Johnny on the spot. 12th of the year assist to Kyle Connor and Dylan DeMello. Again, good things happen when you put the puck towards the net. DeMello puts it towards the net after Morrissey picks up the loose puck. Velarde over to DeMello. Connor's there battling, and he gets enough on the puck that it just sort of bounces to Scheifele, and Scheifele is hard on towards the net, and he's able to chip it past Charlie Lindgren to cut it from 4-2 to 4-3. I mean, Kyle Connor is here. He wins a net front battle. He's in good position. He beats the defender who's trying to cover him to allow the puck to sort of bounce fortuitously onto the stick of Mark Scheifele. Where would this Jets team have been tonight without the top line of Scheifele, Connor, and Velarde, as we talked about?
Well, that's a huge problem, right, guys? Mm-hmm. We sound a little bit like a broken record, but really, this is a big issue for the Jets. Like secondary scoring, you hear about it all the time in professional hockey, right, guys? Like you got to have secondary scoring. When it gets to playoff time and a team goes deep, well, what do you always hear about? Florida Panthers, back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. What do they have? Well, they happen to have Alex Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk, but they also have Carter Verhaeghe, and they have Sam Bennett, and they have Evan Rodriguez, and Brad Marchand, right, Dave?
The guys come out of the woodwork to get them goals when they need them.
Right, and the Jets they're not getting that right now. They're getting that when they started off the season 9-3. They were getting the goals from Nemesnikov. They were getting the goals from Niederreiter, right? Like they were getting contributions from the third and fourth lines, right? And so, like, give the Jets credit. They battled back and made it a 1-goal game here. But again, we're at a point in the season. This isn't game 4 or game 5. We're 22 games into the season now, and the Jets are battling for their playoff lives. So I agree with Drew's assessment. Like the Jets, they wouldn't have come that close if it wasn't for Scheifele, Connor, and Velarde. But just on this goal, guys, Drew already touched on it. But I just like how the Jets were battling here. Like Velarde makes a nice play at the Capitals blue line. I like his effort here. He gets a shot off the faceoff and just makes a nice little pass, a nice little move, kind of gets the Capitals focused on them. And then you're right, Drew. Connor, just a good net front battle. Yep. And then Scheifele gets rewarded. We already talked about that. He was a little bit snake bitten earlier in the game. So, it's a nice goal, but like too little, too late. And I already said it, but like the Jets have to find ways to at least get a point out of a game like tonight.
That's right.
So like you go into Carolina and now you're in a position where you're already lost the first game of the road trip. Like you can't afford to have another game where you come out with zilch. Like it's just it's going to put the Jets too far back. And yeah, you could say, Dave, the Jets are only 3 points back, I think now, of the last wild card spot.
Yeah.
But you don't
4 points back of the Wild, who are in third with a game in hand.
But to Drew's
Minnesota's
point,
playing Chicago tonight.
You have all these other teams that are right in there, right? You have San Jose, you have Chicago, you have Utah. Like it's not like the Jets are the only. The Jets aren't the only team that are behind the 8-ball right now, chasing the playoff spot, right? So, like it was a pretty good game, but that's just not going to cut it at this point of the season.
You need to find a way to third and one.
And by the way, Wild and Hawks are currently tied 3-3 with a few minutes to go in the third, looking like it might head to overtime. So
3-point game. There you go.
Yeah, and so and it was that funny actually, because on the broadcast they were talking about how Scheifele was snake bit and then he scored, and it was also hilarious that not hilarious that he got a high stick in the face, but he was kind of a little karma because he had just gotten the stick to the face, was pissed off, was on the ice. I guess Washington kind of forgot about him, and they were playing it almost like Scheifele wasn't on the ice. He picks up his stick, and fortunate bounce for his 12th goal of the year. But I just thought it was kind of funny how he's kind of ignored, and you're like, well, you can't really ignore a guy who's that good a scorer. So he gets them within, but nothing really doing right. Like they had some chances, good on Perfetti defensively to prevent the empty net goal, and they had the chance at the end with the puck late, but too little, too late. And about the only highlight from the final seconds of the game was Gary Galley calling Sean Reynolds Ryan Reynolds. That to me was kind of.
It's funny. Okay, you stole it from me, Dave. I wasn't sure if you guys would have noticed that.
Oh, I noticed.
But it was I was sitting here watching the game by myself, and I actually had to. I don't know if you PVR'd it or you just watched it, but I usually I PVR'd it to make sure that I heard that correctly, and it was Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, and it's not that surprising. Sean Reynolds is a very handsome man.
He's a handsome man. I mean, that's an honest mistake by Gary Galley in this instance. Jets drop the opening game of this 5-game road trip. They lose it to Washington tonight. We remind everybody, before we go to break, that the last game of this road trip is next Wednesday, so a week from tonight. The last game is in Montreal, in La Belle Provence, against the Canadians, and it's also going to double as the illegal curve holiday hootenanny. So join us next Wednesday, 7 days from today, at Boston Pizza on Taylor Avenue. We're going to be doing our holiday hootenanny. It's a holiday watch party, a live on location post-game show. So whatever happens between now and next Wednesday regarding the Winnipeg Jets, be sure to put it in your calendar, that you're going to be at Boston Pizza on Taylor Avenue on Wednesday night, next Wednesday, to be there with all of your favorite Illegal Curve friends and family. Bring the whole family down. We're going to have an Illegal Curve holiday hootenanny next Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m. Jets and the Habs, the Illegal Curve post-game show. I'll be there. Dave will be there. Ezzy will be there. Producer Tim will be there. Colby, the photographer, maybe he'll be there as well. Everyone's going to be there. So be at Boston.
Zach, our intern, Zach will be there.
Zach, our intern, will be there. That's great. Next Wednesday, be there. Boston Pizza on Taylor Avenue. Celebrate the holiday season. The Illegal Curve holiday hootenanny.
And we'll have health updates, Drew, on Neil Pionk and Hayden Fleury. So tell people that
Wednesday we will.
No, after the commercial break. I just want you to tease that so people don't go. They of course want to have.
I think by next Wednesday, Pionk will be back. I don't know about Fleury.
I was surprised that Dave knows that a week from now we're going to have health updates on players who are currently injured. But Dave knows lots of things, so nothing would surprise me when it comes.
Well, I
to
think we also have to have a triple M after the break, don't we?
Oh yeah, of course we do, Ezzy. There's no question about it. The poor man. It's got to be a short one. It's got to be a short one, but the man is salivating at the
of course it has to be a short one. I have 2 game recaps to write still for illegalcurve.com.
Okay, well, that's fine. You can write those recaps, but a short Manuk Moose minute, an injury update, much more to come. The point is, don't go anywhere. It's the Illegal Curve post-game show. It's brought to you by Play Now. Much more to come on this Wednesday evening.
I want to thank you for not betting with Play Now and choosing our illegal gambling site instead.
Because we couldn't afford things like this without your money.
So much of your money.
Now you might have questions like,
do our profits benefit your community?
No.
Or bet with Play Now, Manitoba's local legal and secure gambling site.
Dining, entertainment, parking, and convenience, all in one spot. City Place is located in the heart of downtown Winnipeg, attached to the Canada Life Centre. Whether you're working, living, or out for a night in the downtown, make City Place your go-to destination before or after the fun finds you. Lunchtime, game time, anytime. Visit City Place at 333 St. Mary Avenue, next to Canada Life Centre.
Boys, I've made an important life decision, and I need your support.
Oh, boy.
I've decided to get a grill.
You mean a barbecue grill for cooking? Like, that's not an important life decision, Ezzy.
No. A grill for my teeth.
A grill for your teeth? Do I even want to know why you're doing this?
It's simple, really. Every time I go to Holt Dental, I get treated so very well by Dr. John and his team that I need to keep finding additional reasons to go back. I rely on Holt Dental for all of my dental needs, and they do it all, from regular cleanings to cosmetic dentistry. Plus, they have free parking at their front door, and you know how much I love my convenient parking.
For all your dental needs, Illegal Curve recommends Holt Dental, conveniently located on Taylor Avenue near Grant Park Mall. For more information, visit them online at holtdental.ca.
Guys, big news. You know how I'm always misplacing my cool stuff? Well, Big Daddy has a new hobby, labeling.
Labeling is your new hobby.
You got it. Ever since I discovered Label Daddy's washable labels, I just can't stop labeling. I'm labeling water bottles, hockey sticks, cereal boxes, roast chickens, team jerseys. Everything deserves a label.
I can think of a label or two for you.
Best part is that Label Daddy is the only label company officially licensed by the NHL. So my labels are personalized and can have the Jets logo on them. Just search NHL on the Label Daddy website.
For almost 2 decades, Label Daddy has been helping people to not lose their stuff. It's the most affordable insurance policy around.
For customized, washable, peel and stick labels with no ironing or sewing required, visit labeldaddy.com and search NHL for the label pack belonging to your favorite team.
For over 40 years, Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club has been Winnipeg's home for stand-up comedy. Renowned in the comedy world as a must-play venue, Rumors has recently been named Canada's top comedy club and a top 5 comedy club in North America. From birthday parties to date nights to fundraisers, wedding socials, and everything in between, Rumors is your destination for the best live entertainment Winnipeg has to offer. For information on upcoming shows, Rumors' incredible promotions, and to purchase show tickets, visit rumorscomedyclub.com.
At Boston Pizza, a fast lunch doesn't have to mean fast food. Now you can get a $15 lunch served in just 20 minutes, including your choice of a main, side, and drink. That's right, lunch for $15 at your local Boston Pizza.
Alrighty, 10:13. It's weird. It's sort of earlier than normal for a long post-game show still, though, because it was the early start time. Imagine if they didn't.
This is the same time the Jets-Kings game started a couple weeks ago.
That's a good one. That was funny. You're not actually terribly wrong when you say that there, Mr. Ginsburg. That's the scary part of the whole thing. I got to give a shout out to our friends. Let me see if I can find it here. Here you go. Our friends at Wheatland Hockey. They're a big sponsor of ours here at Illegal Curve. We love our friends at Wheatland Hockey. If you are looking for a great hockey program, maybe you need to fine-tune some of those rough edges in your game, or you have to fine-tune, or somebody who needs to fine-tune those rough edges in their game, or they just want to take that next step in their hockey development, but want to do it with a good group of people by their side, people who have their priorities in line, who know that it's about building better people, not strictly building better hockey players. That's our friends at Wheatland Hockey. Prairie proud, hockey strong, building skills, character, and excellence on and off the ice. Check them out online, wheatlandhockey.ca. Big thanks to our friends at Wheatland Hockey for being so terrific, because they absolutely are. This is what came out of the Winnipeg Jets dressing room. So we are not alone on an island here. Our buddy Mike McIntyre, who's on the road trip, asked Jets head coach Scott Arniel if he'd consider breaking up the top line with nobody else scoring. Here's what the Jets head coach had to say, quote, "It's something we've thought about, but you have to challenge the other group here to have other players step up and do their part of it." Arniel continues to talk about secondary scoring. Quote, "It's not about being pretty now. I don't care how it goes in, off your head, off your leg, rebounds, whatever. Deflections, we've got to find a way. The guys that aren't scoring, find a way to get some offense." There's the Winnipeg Jets head coach, who's clearly frustrated at the lack of scoring coming from players who aren't named Connor Scheifele Velarde. One group of players who did some scoring in tonight's contest in downtown Winnipeg were members of the Manitoba Moose. To tell us all about the Moose victory tonight, we bring in everyone's favorite segment of the show. It's called the Minuk Moose Minute.
Put on your antlers. It's time for the Minuk Moose Minute on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show.
You see, we were both...
Drew, it's my job. That's my job to hit the button.
We were both so eager to hit the button.
See, Drew did it last Drew did it last post-game show, Ezzy. So because you weren't on it, he thought that his job. But you're right, it is your job to hit the bumper.
I thought Drew, the way Drew was setting that up, I thought he might have the trigger finger there.
It was a premature buttonulation. I apologize for that.
You know how high maintenance Minuk is. You know that he likes it when I hit the button.
We're going to hear about this one from his representative.
Yeah, my agent is going to be complaining.
Worded email.
If I wasn't so excited to do the Minuk Moose Minute right now, I might walk off in a huff. Yeah. But I will not do that. I will instead talk about the Manitoba Moose and the homestand, Ezzy, which continues against the Belleville Senators. Belleville, of course, got the edge on Manitoba yesterday in the school day game in front of 7,000 screaming, and I mean screaming, children.
Let me stop you right here. So It was very clever. The Moose production team said that the announced attendance was 6,767.
6,767.
Did you really not know? And then you claimed
no. Obviously, I knew. Of course, I knew what it was. It was for the. You're talking about my social media post.
Yeah.
Come on, Drew.
So you
engagement. What's going on here?
Okay.
You're better
as long
than
as
that.
you knew what 6-7
Silly,
was. I was
silly
concerned
question.
about it.
Move
Okay,
on.
continue on.
I thought you were going to complain about the fact that I actually used in the Instagram post, I used the music for 6767. I thought that would be the Skrilla song, if you will. But I guess you're a little too old for that. Anyways.
Does the Skrilla song 6-7 actually have anything to do with like what the kids say?
Apparently it does. Apparently that line is what, again, this is devolving into too much stupidity. So I don't want, although it was one of our most liked Moose posts on Instagram, so I got to give a shout out to the folks at the Moose who did that. But
I really hope. Sorry, Dave. Before you continue on the Manuk Moose Minute, I really hope the 6-7-6-7 thing. Like, I hope a year from now we're not talking about this.
Oh my god! I hope in 10 minutes we're not talking about this.
It's already fading. It's already on its way out.
Well, not with my kids. Maybe with your kids, Drew. But my kids at 6-7, 6-7.
I will tell you, the kids at the game loved it. They went bananas when they showed it on the screen. And like again, to show you how little I knew, when Friedman tweeted about this like a while, it feels like a weeks ago. I thought he was talking about Logan Stanley. I was like, is this a Logan Stanley reference? Then I realized there was some stupid meme. Anyways, so the Moose lost yesterday. The win streak came to an end at 6 games, as Drew pointed out. With me doing color, that was clearly the linchpin for them losing, and so they were looking to turn it around against former Manitoba Moose Wyatt Bongiovanni and his Belleville Senators. 0-0 after 20 as Moose got heavily outshot in the first period. So it's all Dominic DiVincentis who makes 11 saves. He goes 11 for 11 in the first, and that was a good thing he did because the Moose came out on fire in the second, outshooting Belleville 21-4, scoring 4 different times. The captain, Mason Shaw, and we should mention, of course, that the Moose were wearing specialty jerseys because they were, I don't know, did you guys see the jerseys?
Is this the ones for the Canadian?
I did.
EFB
They were
Winnipeg. Is that what?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They were sharp. I mean, the
Canadian
Moose
Forces
always nail the jerseys, Dave, but those ones were wicked.
Yeah, they wore the Canadian Forces base. It's the 100th anniversary in Winnipeg, and so they were wearing specialty jerseys. If you haven't seen them, Colby Spencer, our crack photographer, was at the game, so he took some photos. That's on our Instagram, so you can check that out.
Is that the 100th anniversary of like 17 Wing?
See, Canadian Forces base Winnipeg.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's the 100th annivers's of there being a military presence.
There, yeah, it's their Air Force.
Because where I am here in St. James, I'm not going to give away my exact address, but I'm like,
he's in Omens Creek is where he is, folks. He's actually in Omens Creek.
I'm just going to say where I am in St. James, I'm very close to 17 Wing Base.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's awesome, and they obviously, the True North organization has done a fantastic job, Dave. As you know, you always do a great job covering it. We always get some good snaps of honoring the military. Yeah. But that jersey, the colors, the logo, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really nice.
I heard Dave's doing post game on Friday from actually a fighter jet that's going to be flying around Winnipeg.
Believe me, I'll be targeting your house, Mindell. I know where you live. I'll be like right there. It's very targeted right now these days with these things, Drew. So we can weave it in. I'll avoid Laura and the kids, but I'll get you, Mindell. Don't you worry.
Dave's going to be dropping some spoiled fruit on Drew's house.
Did Dave just threaten to hit my house with a rocket?
No. Remember when Trump did the thing and it was like shit was dropping down on people's heads? That's what we're going to do. Just drop a little feces on you.
The government shut down, right? Or there was
the government's not shut down anymore, is it?
No, he said because of that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because
all right, let's get this is devolving, and we got to get back. There are 4 goals, and all worth mentioning. Mason Shaw, the captain, he scored his 4th of the year. Jared Henderson Dolan. Everybody's rolling right now. The Moose are feeling good. Like I said, they've now won 7 of 8. Brad Lambert, the Jets prospect, disgruntled Jets prospect. We're going to talk to him probably on Friday. He got his first. The Moose had a 5-on-3, kind of a chip shot. He was nice pass by Ville Heinola. Ville's been playing really well of late. Colby Barlow, he gets an assist. He's on the power play with that unit. And then Samuel Fogamo, he scored his first of 2 to make it 4-0 for the Manitoba Moose. He also scored on the power play. They gave up one early, just about a minute into the third. And then Samuel Fogamo, who, by the way, spoke to us at both guys who spoke to us today, Tyrell Bauer, Samuel Fogamo, had an impact on the game. So Tyrell Bauer assists on the Samuel Fogamo 5th goal to seal the deal so the Moose win 5-1, and they are rolling right now. They're not going to catch Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids is kind of like the Colorado of the AHL, but the Moose
Maybe
are,
Chevy should call up some of these Moose guys, and some of that winning will rub off on the Jets.
Well, it might not hurt because these guys are definitely playing connected hockey, and they wanted to rebound after a poor effort yesterday. They did just that and dominated in the second. And again, Dom DiVincentis, 2 games, back-to-back games for him. And of course, the Winnipegger Isaac Poulter also up with the big club, but the Moose closed it out. 11-8 shots, 35-23 overall. They're going to be off tomorrow, and then they'll be back in action, practice Friday, and then game Saturday, Sunday. If you want to go to the games in the illegal curve zone, should have gone today. We set some up. They were first row, right on the glass today. So pretty good game for them to go and see with their kids. So 5-1 Moose win. Feeling good at the AHL club of Manitoba.
There you go. Dave M. Quickly, updates, health updates. Neil Pionk, Hayden Fleury. You got one sentence on each of them.
Okay, Neil Pionk skated, Scott O'Neill said, basically made it sound like he didn't feel great, so he didn't skate with the main group. And Hayden Fleury did not pass his concussion test, so he is actually not on the trip. He remains, in Winnipeg. Specifically with Pionk, he said thought he'd try it again today. Didn't feel quite right day to day. So tight-lipped by Arneal, but it sounds like if I'm Elias Salamonson, I wasn't certain based on the way Pionk looked like he was skating yesterday before the Jets left. I thought Salamonson might get one game and then be sent back down, but it appears that and again, we'll see what happens. They've got to practice tomorrow. It's an optional in Carolina, and then they play against Friday night. So it kind of seems like maybe Salamonson gets a second game, but we'll have to wait till either tomorrow or Friday to let you know.
We remind everybody that the Friday post-game show is at the weird time of about 6:40 p.m. because it's a 4 o'clock Central Black Friday start to the game in Carolina. So it's an afternoon contest. 4 o'clock is the puck drop between the Jets and the Hurricanes.
Is there possibly a ceremony that might delay it half an hour?
There might be. I'm not sure. Post-game will be right around 6:40 or so for us after the Jets and the Hurricanes do battle on Friday night.
I have a question, though, Drew. So American Thanksgiving's tomorrow, correct?
Correct, yes.
So Friday, is it like traditional, like Friday will most people just be off?
Most people will be off. A lot of people will take Friday off as well.
Okay.
Consider it like the Boxing Day of America.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's Black Friday with all the retail and all the shopping. So consider it that way. So yeah, that's why a lot of things are happening in the afternoon. Of course, there's an NFL game Friday afternoon. Tons of college football all day as well. And we'll be there for the Jets and the Hurricanes after they do battle on Friday afternoon. That's it for us tonight, though. Big thanks to everybody for joining us here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. If you haven't already done so, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, and tell your friends, tell your family the best place to be after each and every Winnipeg Jets game. And again, on Saturday mornings is the Illegal Curve YouTube channel. Big thanks to our sponsors. They make this show, the Saturday show, and the website a possibility. Our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club, Play Now, Holt Dental, City Place, Wheatland Hockey, Boston Pizza, and, of course, Label Daddy as well. If you missed any of this, it's available again for the instant replay. Full recap to come on illegalcurve.com. For Dave Manouk, for Ezra Ginsburg, I'm your host, Drew Mandel. Until Friday at 6:30 p.m., we wish you good night and good luck. And thanks for watching the Illegal Curve post-game show.